What's going on, everybody? Z back with some Season 8 action for you. And guess what we looking at right now? On Dario's fucking claw arm bitches. And they're awesome. Anyways, real quick, progress and then build. Progress, I got to chapter 4. I'm on Slayer. I got my pieces, so that means it's time for a build video. So let's take a look at it real quick. Uliana's Strategem is the build, and this is how it plays. 2 set bonus. Every third hit of your spirit generator applies Exploding Palm. And 7-sided strike and Exploding Palm are the 2 skills that are going to be dealing a lot of your damage in this build. So every third hit of my spirit generator, which I'm using Way of the 100 Fists, it does like 1 hit, 2 hit, and then it hits like a whole bunch of times. That third strike is where it applies Exploding Palm to all the enemies that it encompasses. So that's like really good. And then the 4 set bonuses, my 7-sided strike deals double its total damage with each hit. So the total damage that 7-sided strike will hit with over the whole skill, add another full 7-sided strike damage to that, and then put that on every single hit. So you're getting 14 times damage with this, because you're taking each hit of the 7, doubling the damage, and making it the full 7 hits on each hit. It's awesome. Believe me, trust me, it's fucking amazing. And then the 6 set bonus increases the damage of your Exploding Palm by 250%, and your 7-sided strike detonates your Exploding Palm. Okay, this is where it gets really fucking awesome. Now, when I first read this set, because I never played the Uliana Strategem, I was like, this isn't going to be that good. I mean, I know 7-sided strike is getting a nice buff, but Exploding Palm is not going to be that great. And then if you read it, though, every third hit applies Exploding Palm. My 7-sided strike gets all that damage. And then my 7-sided strike also detonates the Exploding Palm that's applied. Now, if you combine that with this, the Gundo gear, Exploding Palm's on death explosion applies Exploding Palm. This right here makes this fucking trash people, especially single targets, which before it was like, it was okay, but the big groups, you could explode people and it would start like a chain reaction, killing everything. This is fantastic if you don't have a lot of bosses, like if it's an elite crew of like 3 or 4 guys, if it's a Rift Guardian. This right here is just like, it's so great. Exploding Palms on death applies Exploding Palm. So you like walk into a crew, you cyclone everybody and suck them in with implosion. You do your 1-2 punch. You got Exploding Palm on like half the mobs. You use your 7-sided strike. It blows everybody up. As they're blowing up, they apply the palm to everybody else, including themselves, if they didn't die the first time. So it's like fucking TNT City, man. It just blows up constantly. So for a Rift Guardian, for example, I put on Exploding Palm once. I hit 7-sided strike. They blow up 7 fucking times. And Exploding Palm does a lot of damage on its own. Causes them to explode for 6,305% weapon damage. That's the base skill. Holy shitballs, man. That just made this build go way through the roof. Now, I don't have the weapons that I need yet. I have one of them, and it's this right here. The Lion's Claw is one of the 2 weapons that you'll be using. 7-sided strike performs an additional 7 strikes. Now, it's another double on top of the double on top of the whole, like, it's like fucking mind-boggling how strong 7-sided strike gets in this build. The other fist weapon that you'll be using in conjunction with Lion's Claw is the Fist of Azturazka. I don't know. I'll put a picture up when I edit this. And that increases Exploding Palm's explosion damage by another 250 to 300%. Holy shit. So, damn, this build does a lot of fucking damage really fast. Like with Shenlong Raymond build, that was like blazing fast, and you know, you're hitting everybody with the crippling wave. and you're beating them down like super fast, but you're using the spirit generator to do that, and the more spirit you had, the more damage you dealt. With this one, it's like you just pulling them all in and setting bomb timers on their bodies, and then they just fucking blow up, and it blows up everywhere. It looks fantastic when you're doing it. If you get a nice big crew, especially if there's like a bunch of little minions trickled in with big guys, holy shit, man, it's awesome. But yeah, the helmet, same deal. I throw in a diamond for cooldown reduction, because you want massive cooldown reduction, because you want that 7-sided strike up 24/7. Shoulders are pretty basic. I re-rolled them for 7-sided strike damage because I want more damage always. So I don't have the best in slot amulet for this character, this build rather, and that would be the Traveler's Pledge amulet, and then you're going to use the Compass Roses as one of your rings, and that's the one where when you move you take less damage. When you stand still you deal more damage. So that's, you guys have seen that in other builds. The best in slot for the other ring is called Unity, and then you get another Unity and you put it on your companion with Scoundrel Token be the equip on follower, character never dies basically. So that would cut my damage in half all the time. So that would really help me stay alive in the big mobs where I suck them in and blow them all up. It let me survive those couple hits. So I don't have them. I was trying to get them before today. I don't have them yet, but I am searching for them. As far as the waist, you want Binding of the Lost. I don't have it yet. I don't remember if I've ever gotten this drop, but I don't play monks a lot. And what this does is each hit with the 7-sided strike will reduce my damage for 7 seconds by a certain amount. It's like I think 3 to 3.5%. So if you're talking about 14 hits, if I'm properly geared, that's a lot of damage reduction. So you can survive some pretty big mobs. So let's take a look at the skills real quick. We have Way of 100 Fists with Assimilation, and the Assimilation will give me every hit with the third hit increases my damage by 5% for 5 seconds, which just gives me a little bit of boosted damage. Cyclone with the Implosion, like I was saying, to suck all the enemies in up to 34 yards, which is pretty big ass range. Epiphany with Desert Shroud, that'll reduce the damage I take by 50%, and also, as any Epiphany, it will give you Spirit 20 per second, and I instantly dash to people, so it helps me keep up to like goblins and if I'm trying to blaze through an area. Dashing Strike with Blinding Speed, you can kind of pick any rune you want. It's kind of up to you. I pick the one that increases my dodge after I use it, because I'm typically dodging to escape dying or to go into a middle of a huge mob and Cyclone Strike. So if I'm dashing into a big mob, I Cyclone Strike, I need that dodge chance so I don't get killed like immediately, because you're getting hit by everybody. So that's super helpful for mobility, saving your ass, or just progressing through a rift quickly. 7-sided strike is obviously one of the things that deals all your damage, and sustained attack will reduce the cooldown from 30 seconds to 14, so it's over 50% cut off of the total cooldown time. There are other options, but this one is the best because it'll keep it on the most uptime possible. Exploding Palm with Impending Doom, I believe, deals the most damage out of any of the Exploding Palms. Now, when I was originally making the build, I was thinking, why would I have Exploding Palm when my 100 Fist third hit applies it for me? And the reason is, if you don't have Exploding Palm in your techniques, like on your bar or anything, it'll just be the one that's no rune. So it'll just be this one. It causes them to bleed for a little bit of damage, and it deals 2770 damage, all nearby, blah, 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 blah. So do you want to deal 2770 damage, or do you want to deal over 6,000? It's worth it, believe me. Because what are you going to do? You could put a mantra, I guess. You could put a mystic ally. It's not going to be as effective as doing, over twice the damage without any gear or increase or stats or anything. It's like a no-brainer. So that's why Exploding Palm is still necessary. Also, it can be helpful because if you're coming up to a boss and they can kill you in like basically 2 hits, you might want to tag him with Exploding Palm and then do a 7-sided strike immediately thereafter to try to like burn them down, and then dash away until your 7-sided strike is up again and just do like guerrilla warfare on them. Because if you're sitting there trying to punch them, they're gonna fuck you up. So Exploding Palm does have its applications, believe me. So the passive skills, near-death experience, you can take it or leave it. I actually like it because I've gotten it triggered quite a few times, and it does save my ass. Beacon of Yatar, it reduces all my cooldowns by 20%. Like I said, you need that shit on all the time. So my my Epiphany I need up quickly because that's a 1-minute cooldown. I need my Dashing Strikes to be recharging quickly, and I need my 7-sided strike to be up quite a bit. I use it in every encounter. Harmony will keep you alive with 40% of my single elemental resistances from items, increasing all of my elemental resistances. So everything that has one single element will give 40% of that single element to all of your resistances, which is awesome. And Mythic Rhythm, every third hit from a spirit generator increases the damage of my next damaging spirit spender by 40%. This gives me a free 40% damage boost on when I do 7-sided strike. So I do my bop bop bop. They got Exploding Palm applied. 7-sided strike gets a free boosted damage. That's why that's there. So as far as Paragon levels, movement speed is the first thing again. Max it out at 25% and then pour it into main stat. For offense, of course, you're going to want to focus on cooldown reduction. Like I said, it's a cooldown build. After cooldown reduction, you want to do critical hit chance and then critical hit damage and then attack speed. Attack speed is pretty much always last. For defense, you want resist all, of course. You always need that resistance. And then you're supposed to do armor and then life regeneration. Basically, the way this is, the reason why this is important is mitigation is more powerful than health pool or regeneration. Like, resisting all and armor will reduce the damage I take. Life just gives me more of a health pool, but it doesn't make it easier to heal that life pool. And life regeneration is like, it's negligible, honestly. So if I had a piece of gear that heals me every spirit spent point, blah, 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 it'd be harder for me to recover if I focused on making a big life pool than if I focused on damage mitigation, which mitigation just means like a damage reduction, if you were not familiar. And for utility, you want area damage, of course, because you're bringing in big mobs. Then the next thing would be life on hit, then resource cost reduction, and of course gold find is always last because who the fuck cares. For the legendary gems, you want Bane of the Trapped, Gogok of Swiftness, and either Bane of the Stricken for progression or Boon of the Hoarder for torments, which I would probably just leave Bane of the Stricken. I'd never use Boon of the Hoarder. I know it gives you gold and all that shit, blah, 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 blah. It makes you move faster, though, because you're getting a lot of gold and moving quicker with the passives. So for Kanai's Cube, I don't have this yet, but you want for the weapon to be Flow of Eternity. The reason you want the Flow of Eternity for your weapon is it increases the damage of 7-sided strike by another 100% and reduces the cooldown by 60%. On top of all the other reductions, this skill is going to be rotating very, very quickly with this. So it's hands down best in slot for that. For your armor, I actually have the right item. Lefebvre's Soliloquy, whatever. Cyclone Strike reduces your damage taken by 50% for 5 seconds. Again, when I suck them all in, I don't want to be killed right away, so this will help me mitigate damage. And for the jewelry slot, you want Convention of Elements because it'll cycle through, as I've told you before in other builds. It's a 16-second cycle, 4 seconds per element, and if you can time it right, you can blow the fuck out of people with Exploding Palm cold damage at 200% increase on cold elemental damage. Bro, game over. GG button right there. Alright, so I wanted to show you how you rotate. I do my way of 100 fists, and then I do fucking GG button, and it's all over. 7-sided strike comes in for the win, kicks ass, it's all over. Let's do this again. We'll suck everybody in. Way of 100 fists, 7-sided strike. It's fucking amazing. I love this build. It's so cool. And then with Dashing Strike and Epiphany, I mean, you can go all over the map super fast. I mean, of course, I have a channeling thing on right now, but let's do it right here. Got my Exploding Palm, elite, dead, instantly. And I'm not even, like, geared that well yet. But, bro, you have to try this build out. It's really, really awesome. Alright, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the build. Try it out for yourself. Let me know how it goes. And I hope to see you guys in the season. Later.